I think it's important as we begin this welcome to reflect on the lovely welcome to country that Uncle Mark Flanders provided there last night, and to acknowledge that we are here gathered today on the traditional lands of the Gumbaynggirr people, and to pay our respects to elders past and present. So, 21 years ago this conference began. I'm sure there's some in the room, not sure if there's a special prize for those of you who've been there from the beginning, but I have to confess that I'm a first timer. I don't know if there's any sort of ritual I need to go through, or if I have a certain title attached to that, but I'm certainly enjoying the experience. So happy 21st birthday to the Waste Conference. Today we welcome over 100 councils from around Australia, as well as industry, government, waste experts from Australia and the world. We have 130 presenters, 78 exhibitors, and an extensive range of sponsors and supporters. I believe there's over 600 delegates or close to it this year. Coffs Harbour City Council are delighted to be hosting this prestigious event again, and have been proud hosts since 1996. Thank you, as have the New South Wales EPA. A special thanks to the conference major sponsors, the New South Wales EPA and Suez. And also to our gold sponsors, 3Logics, Newcastle Weighing Services and Refunder. There are, of course, an extensive list of sponsors and exhibitors. We'd like to thank each of you, and without your continued support, we certainly wouldn't be able to keep this event as fantastic as it is. A couple of housekeeping measures. Mobile phones, let's please make sure they are off or on silent, please. In the unlikely event of an emergency, a siren will sound throughout the building, and if you hear this, please pay attention to the directions from staff and be ready to evacuate to the muster locations, which are outside the front and the rear of the building. Toilets are located outside the ballroom across the foyer. Now, there is a large number of delegates, so please be attentive to the need to allow extra seating, so please be prepared for that. There is recordings taking place today with Destination New South Wales and a few others. Unofficial recordings are not permitted. If you haven't yet done so, please consider downloading the conference app. It's a fantastic resource to get you up to date on all the wonderful things that are happening across the 2.5-day duration. So the morning session will begin with a welcome by the Coffs Harbour City Council Mayor, Councillor Denise Knight, and will be followed by 3 keynote addresses, 2 of which are from international representatives. If time allows, there will be a short duration for question and answers following each presenter. And please wait till the end of the session to ask those questions. So I've been fortunate enough to be welcomed here to this conference for the first time, and I have to confess I do pinch myself a little bit. Here is a zero waste advocate and campaigner being invited to speak at Australia's leading waste avoidance and resource recovery conference. But I think that to me indicates that times are changing and attitudes are changing. So when I thought about what I could offer in my opening address here, it is really around that story of change. And being a almost digital native, I went to where I see a lot of my news and inspiring information, social media. And just by having a look through my social media news feed, I can see that attitudes towards waste are changing. And so I wanted to sort of have a bit of a chat around what I was exposed to in scrolling through my social media feed in the lead up to this conference. First of all, I saw this incredible news that there's going to be a 3-part documentary all about waste on the ABC starting on the 16th of May. Who would have ever thunk it that waste would be so cool that we're going to have a 3-part primetime series on ABC? Clearly, attitudes are changing. If I flick back, I saw an incredible story sweep across the media in recent weeks, triggered by the project, and a very compelling story on the need to see Australia ban plastic bags, not just in the current 4 states and territories, but right across the nation. And that has been matched by a huge outpouring of sentiment from the community. Why are we still here talking about this? When are our leaders going to act and step up and take on this seemingly simple transition? I saw a news story around Oz Harvest and their ongoing impact on food waste avoidance and providing food to those in need. They've now launched Australia's first surplus food supermarket, where you can go in and pay what you can offer to get yourself nutritious food that's been donated from surplus supplies. If I go back a little bit further, I saw Paris Hilton, the queen of consumption, advocating that we should be reducing our use and dependence on plastic bottles and advocating a solution, in this case, SodaStream. Who'd have thunk it? Paris Hilton, of all people, becoming a new age environmentalist, speaking to all those young people out there who are incredibly influenced by what people like this have to say. I can see that Sky News in the UK has launched a huge campaign called Sky Ocean Rescue, triggered by one of the heads of Sky News learning from his son studying at university that each time he was eating a mussel from the North Sea, he was consuming an average of 11 pieces of microplastic filtered from the ocean. A huge campaign, and look at some of the views here these videos designed to become viral communication tools are receiving. Some 55 million views just from that one video alone. And it continues. The World Economic Forum pushing out news that India has banned all forms of disposable plastic packaging from its capital. That in other parts of the world, new currencies are emerging to drive the new plastics economy. And that a young boy in the US is now a proud recipient of some $21,000 by participating in a bottle refund scheme. And I just love that last one to close on, because I know there's going to be so many stories like this emerging across the New South Wales landscape later in the year when we finally have container deposit schemes coming into effect. A new emergence of young people recognising the value of waste. And I do hope that's a big theme for the conference today and tomorrow. So I believe change is here. My question to all of you is, where do you fit in amongst that scheme? I'm here to push that we have a dire situation with our oceans and plastic, and that the problem starts on land. And Take 3 for the Sea, my charity, is committed to trying to educate and inspire people to participate in that reduction. And we look forward to healthier working relationships with all of you.